I'm with Luke Cesnik with the POW balloon here in Hudson, Wisconsin today, and you were telling me a little bit about the Freedom Flight. Maybe you could elaborate a little bit on that.
Well, Freedom Flight is a nonprofit organization that flies the POW MIA balloons, and Honor Flight is something that we just got started. We heard about this national organization that was actually doing fundraising to take World War II veterans to their memorial in Washington, D.C. before we lose them all. They say nationally right now we're losing anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 a day. So what Honor Flight, the organization, does is raises funds to get these World War II veterans to that memorial at no cost to them. So in September we took 34 veterans from the St. Cloud area. We raised $30,000 and we took them to Washington, D.C., had a wonderful, wonderful trip. We left out of St. Cloud on a bus, got into Minneapolis, got on the airplane, and the one thing we didn't tell the veterans is that we went back through their applications and we looked at all their emergency contact information, and we called their families and asked them all to write letters to the veterans. And so we collected all sorts of letters from the families, and we put them in envelopes for the veterans. And at 35,000 feet, we kind of took over the PA system on the airplane, introduced the World War II veterans to everybody else on the flight to DC, and we then had mail call. And so we called out their names, and they raised their hands, and we took their envelopes to them. And then there wasn't a dry eye in the place at that point, because they had all been getting letters from different people in their families, you know, thanking them for their service and you know, telling them how proud they were of them. But the one veteran that was sitting behind me was having a really tough time with this whole thing. So I got up and went back and asked him how he was doing, and he said that he was doing okay. You know, he didn't expect to see those kind of letters from his family. But then he held up a letter and he says, "This letter here is the one that I'll cherish for the rest of my life." And I said, "Well, what's that about?" He says, "This is from my son, who I haven't talked to for 20 years." So that was pretty emotional, and of course he was having a hard time, and at that point I was having a hard time with it. And then we found out that they actually had a lunch the day after that we came back, and they kind of got put back together and reconciled. And so it was you know, pretty emotional that way. But the other thing that happened on the trip that was very nice for the veterans and for all of us too, is that the Honor Flight organization in Washington, D.C. had gone into the terminal and announced to everybody in the terminal building that this Honor Flight was that we were coming in from Minneapolis, and told everybody what gate it was at, and they all met us there. So when we came off that airplane, there was this crowd of people that was shoulder to shoulder cheering us on as we were coming off the airplane, and so we're pushing people off in wheelchairs and everything else, and they're shaking their hands, and just, you know, it was a wonderful experience for these guys. And then we went on from there, including meeting Bob and Elizabeth Dole at the World War II memorial, and they came and talked to us for about an hour and a half, and got pictures with everybody. And it was just it's just a wonderful organization to be part of. And Freedom Flight picked it up because we thought, you know, this is something that just kind of fits with what we do. You know, we recognize and promote the POW MIA issue through the use of the hot air balloons, but this is something that we can do for the people that did make it home. And it's just a wonderful experience for all those veterans. They're still talking about it, and they've got pictures up everywhere, and their families they can't hear enough about it. So
well, it's way more than what I had thought that you had going there, and you said you're going to repeat that again this year.
We're gonna fly out again April 24th from the Twin Cities, and we fly out on a Saturday morning and we come back Sunday afternoon. So we stay overnight, and we tour the World War II Memorial, and then we go to the Korean War Memorial and the Vietnam Memorials and Lincoln Memorials, and we travel around in D.C., and then they get a chance to see all that they want to see.
Well, thank you, Luke. It's a great story.